our company. We have a SaaS solution for patent and innovation research, analysis, and collaboration. We have an experience of 15 years in intellectual property software solutions. Our product PatSeer is used by the corporations, government institutes, law firms, and service providers. We have a strong focus on R&D, and we also carry out rapid continuous product enhancements that solve greater challenges and needs of IP professionals. Let us now get started with the main part of our presentation. So in today's presentation, I'm going to talk about what AI classifier is, how it can help add value to your IP projects. I will share some pointers with you which will help you to get the best predicted categories from the AI classifier. Then I will also explain you the two modes of operation, which is basically the automatic mode and the moderation mode. And in the last, I will take up a case study on which I will show you how the categories were predicted by the AI classifier. Now the AI classifier basically automatically learns from your existing taxonomies and the records you have categorized against it and makes the prediction for the newer and uncategorized records. The classifier supports hierarchical taxonomies and saves you the time and effort of manually classifying new records. So once you enable this classifier on any of your projects, it is continuously going to learn in the backend, and the future predictions are going to be based on that. Now, this AI classifier is basically built over the latest AI NLP stack, and the underlying model has been customized with the semantic rules in relevance to achieve the best prediction over the patent and the scientific literature. Now, before I dive in the logistics of this tool, let me brief you about the importance of the AI classifier and how AI classifier can be a much better option to explore than the manual categorization. Now, most companies actively maintain the continuously updated data set against the technology of their interest, and they also categorize them against the internal taxonomies, mainly for the competitive intelligence and the technology watch projects. Now, this categorization is basically based either on the application area in which it's being used, or it could also be the materials that are being used in that particular technology, or it could also be the end product. Now, when it comes to categorizing the patents, we all know that we have CPCs and IPCs, which are usually used to categorize the patents. But to some extent, they are at the broader level. And if you want to do some deeper analysis, then in that case, creating your own taxonomies or categories definitely helps. It can give you much deeper insights. So keeping all this in mind, we thought of coming up with the AI classifier. Now, if you are into manual categorization, then definitely there are some challenges to it. It is definitely time consuming. It is tedious. It is also expensive. It is subject to human errors. And sometimes you will also need a subject matter expert in order to categorize these patents. So these are some of the drawbacks when it comes to manual categorization. But these drawbacks can be easily overcome using the auto categorization. So with the help of the auto categorization, you can categorize a huge set of records with less time compared to what it will require if you start doing it manually. Then you will have complete flexibility to decide on how the AI classifier is going to work for you. This tool is basically designed to reduce the laborious and never-ending classification work that you need to keep doing in such kind of data sets. So this was the main difference between the auto categorization and the manual categorization. Now let's move on the logistics of how the AI classifier works. Of course, I do have a case study to show you live on PatSeer, but here is a gist of all the things that you need to know. Now here, imagine this is the set of patent documents that you're currently working on. The baseline for the AI classifier to work is you need to have few patent documents within your dataset that you have manually categorized. This subset of patent is going to work as your training data. Basically, by feeding the machine such categorized data, you are training your ML model to work the same for those records that you have not yet categorized. The predictions that would be made for the uncategorized records will be purely based on the content that is present in those documents. So the system will pick up all the key concepts that are present in it, and based on that, it will give you the prediction. So this is an overall gist of how the AI classifier works. Now moving further to the best practices that you can follow to ensure that you get better accuracy. The first point is to have accurately categorized training data set. To put it simply, machine learning algorithm learns from the data that is provided. The training data set helps in generating an understanding and identifying the relationship in the ML model so that the predictions that are given for the testing data are closer to the accuracy. Therefore, it is very important that the training data that you provide is accurate so that the ML model and hence the testing data gets executed accurately. Now, when it comes to categorizing the patents for a training data set, there is no right or wrong way. Every user will have its own perception and understanding of the data set. And that is the reason why it is important that the key aspect, that is the categorization that you create, must be exactly the way that you want the machine to predict the remaining data set. The next point to remember is that out of the total number of records that you have in your project, you should provide 20 to 30% of the patents for the training data purpose. Now, even if you provide more data, it is always going to work in your way, as the AI classifier will have some more information with it on which it will learn and will give you the further predictions. The next point to consider is the prediction cutoff threshold. So in simple language, a threshold is the value at which the decision is made whether to classify that patent, the uncategorized patent, under a particular category. So I'll just explain this with a simple example. Say if you have a bunch of uncategorized records, then out of those uncategorized records, you will be passing some of the data to the AI classifier for training purpose. Now, based on that, the system, the AI classifier, will assign some score to each and every uncategorized records against the category that you have. So imagine you have just a single category, category A. So based on the key content that is present in those uncategorized records, a score will be given against the category. So the prediction cutoff threshold will be in the range of 30 to 90. So if you have selected as a threshold as 60, then all the records which has a score of less than 60 will not get added to category A, whereas the rest of the records which has a score of above 60 will get added to the category A. Now, we ran several tests in-house by using multiple data sets and various threshold values, and we came to the conclusion that 50 is considered in general to be a good value while running the ML model. And this is also the case with multi-label or single label categorization. As for the end user, we will recommend you to check how the AI classifier is running based on the threshold value and see how the predictions are coming out to be by using the second mode of AI classifier, which is with moderation, wherein you can review the patent numbers. You can then further change the threshold setting and check the prediction for other values. This will help you to understand what threshold value suits the best for the data set that you're working on. Now, as I said, the threshold value can be in the range of 30 to 90. So if you select a very high threshold value, then higher accuracy will definitely be achieved. However, there will be a good chance that some set of records will not at all get categorized. And if you keep the threshold too low, then the number of patents getting categorized will be more, However, precise accuracy might be slightly achieved. Now, using this simple flowchart, I'll just explain you the entire process. So here we have a complete data set, which will be divided later into two parts. One is the training data and the other is the testing data. The testing data is basically all the uncategorized records. Now, out of your training data, which is like 22%, 20 to 30% of your total data, you'll have to categorize these records, or you'll have to map these records to the taxonomies that you have created. Now, this data will be passed to the training AI classifier, which will basically learn the way you have done the categorization of it. And now, based on this learning, it will start giving the predictions for all of your uncategorized records. Now, okay. So now when it comes to categorizing the records to the taxonomies that you have for the training purpose, there is no right or wrong way, as every user will have its own perception and understanding of the data set. And that is the reason why it is important that the key aspects, that is the categorization that you create, must be exactly the way that you want the machine to predict the remaining data set. Now, I'll just quickly touch base on the two modes that we have. So the first mode is the automatic mode, and the second is the moderation mode. So in the automatic mode, as the name suggests, the system will automatically apply the predictions that are given by the AI classifier to the uncategorized records. So here, this prediction would be purely based on the cutoff threshold prediction cutoff threshold that you have selected, as well as the training data set. Whereas the other mode, which is with moderation mode, this will help you to review the records. So basically, it will give you a chance to see what are the predicted categories, and then you can decide whether you want to push the record to the predicted category or you just want to ignore it. So as you can clearly see that not only we are providing the user to completely trust on the ML model, of course, based on the training data and the threshold, to give you an predicted auto categorization for the records, but we are also giving the end user an open ground to completely manipulate and modify the auto categorized records based on the end user's requirement by providing the moderation mode. Now, before we jump to the next part, I'll just like to quickly show you where exactly you can find the new option of the AI classifier. So this option is available for all of our PatSeer Pro X edition users. So you'll be able to find this in the filter section on the left side. Under the categories, you will have this small icon over here. So if you click on it, you will have an option to automatically categorize the patents. So I'll just give you a quick run through on the different features that are available over here. So once you select this option, automatic AI classifier, the first thing that you need to do is select the categories on which you want the predictions to be done on. So as you can see in this project, these are the four main categories that I have, and these same categories are being populated over here. So in this screen, you will always see all the parent level categories. So from here, you can select whichever categories on which you want the predictions to be done on. And once this is done, you'll have to run this particular option, which is readiness check. So for the AI classifier to predict the categories, it needs some minimum data to be supplied. So minimum data that should be present in each and every category is of 5 records. But what we are recommending users is that they should at least push in 10 records in each of these categories. So once this readiness check is passed, you will have these two options enabled. These two options I've already explained. One is the automatic and the other is the with moderation. And this is the place from where you can actually select the prediction cutoff threshold. So as said before, it ranges from 30 to 90. So if you remember, I had shared some pointers in order to have the best predictions out of the AI classifier. So one was creating the data set, that is uh, manually categorizing the patents against the categories that you have. And the second was the prediction cutoff threshold. So using the moderation mode, you can actually play around with the threshold values and see how the predictions are coming out. And whichever suits best for your data set, you can keep that running for that particular project. Now, this process does take some time. So I have prepared some slides which will show you, with which I'll be able to show you how you can review the patents or how the automatic records can be viewed. So the first option that I like to show you is with the automatic mode. So as you can see, the automatic mode has been selected. And once the AI classifier runs on all the uncategorized records, you will be able to see the updated status over here. So as you can see, I have like 130 new records being classified. So this means that the AI classifier has applied or has applied the predicted categories directly to those 130 uncategorized records. Now, at any point of time, if you want to view those records, you can simply click on this number and it will directly take you to the PatSeers results page. So if you're in any of the standard view, then you will be able to see in which category the record has been added to. So as you can see in the screenshot, this WIPO number has been added to television or TV applications. Now, in order to uncategorize this record, you can use all the traditional ways that are present in PatSeer to basically uncategorize this record. Now, the next option that I like to show you is with moderation. So as soon as the AI classifier identifies the categories, then the status will be something like this. Like it will show you for how many records the prediction has been done on. So in this case, you can see there are like 138 records on which the prediction has run. And now if you want to review those records, you can simply click on review now. So as soon as you click on this window will pop up. So this is a place where you can review the predictions that are being made by the AI classifier. So for the review purpose, we have added some basic information about the patent. So as you can see over here, there is title, there is abstract of that particular document. Then if you just scroll down a bit, you'll also be able to see the first claims of that document, as well as you'll be able to see the image. So based on these things, you'll be able to say if the category that has been predicted by the AI classifier is correct or not. So on the right side, if you notice, you'll be able to see the list of all the categories or the taxonomies that you have created. And now just the way you can interpret this particular page is that this WO number, the highlighted one over here, has been predicted to television or TV application with 97% accuracy. So this is basically based on the threshold value that you select. So this also comes in handy, like viewing this for percentages, like when you're reviewing the patents. Say for example, you have selected a threshold as 50. Okay, so maybe you will come across the patents which has been added to a category, and over there the score might be in the range of 50 to 60. But at the time of review, you would probably be ending up uncategorizing that records. So basically what it means that whatever score that has been internally assigned to the uncategorized record in the range of 50 to 60, those are not relevant to your data set. This is what the interpretation is. So what you can do is you can go back to the settings and change the threshold to 60. So now the system will give the predictions only to those categories where the internal score has been above 60. So this is how you can play around with the moderation and get the best threshold value selected for your data set. Now in the same window itself, you will have these three options on the bottom right that you see. The first is the apply and next. So right now what you see is that there are total 138 records that have not yet been categorized, or the predictions have been given to these 138 records. So now when I click on apply and next, I'll be able to see the next record for the review. So apply and next is basically to review the records, and once you have the appropriate category, you can just click on apply and next. Then the next option that you have is apply for all records and close. So imagine a case wherein you have like 138 records to review, but after reviewing the first 50 records, you realize that whatever prediction that the AI classifier has made for you, those are perfect. Like you don't need to make any changes in the suggestions that are given by the AI classifier. So in that case, you can just click on apply for all records and close. So the AI classifier will automatically apply all the predictions that are being given by the AI classifier to the rest of the records. The last option that you see is apply and close. So this is basically like, say for example, on the first day, you review first 20 records, and now you want to review the rest of the records the next day. So you can simply use this option, apply and close. So it will assign the categories that you have assigned so far to the records. And next day when you log in, you will be able to see only those patents that you have not yet reviewed. So this is apply and close that you can use for. And the last option over here is skip. Like if you're not sure about if the record should get added to a category or not, then you can use this option, skip. So this was a quick overview about how the two mode works and how you can actually review the records in the moderation mode. Now, coming to the last part, which is the case study. So for the case study, I have taken the topic of the hand gesture recognition. So in this particular topic, basically, it says that basically using your hand gestures, you can communicate with different things. It could like the hand gesture, like if you move your hand, probably if you're in some room, you can switch on or switch off the lights. So there are different application areas in which the hand gesture is being used. So some of the popular application areas is like TV, then sign language interpretation, gaming application, medical application. It is also being used in defense or automobile industry. So these are the most famous areas in which the hand gesture is being used. Now from this hand gesture technology, I've just picked up 200 records in order to 200 records, and out of those 200 records, I picked up 60 random records for the training purpose. Now with these 60 records, I have added these records into the categories that I have already created, these 4 categories. So this was purely for the training purpose. So if you remember, like at the start, I had mentioned that training data is also one of the important thing because based on that only all the future predictions are going to be made. Then the AI classifier was run on the rest of the 140 records and the predictions were made. Now, at the time of running this AI classifier, we had kept the value as 60. Now, when it comes to like if you want to understand the actual performance of an AI classifier, a confusion matrix is used. Okay, and in order to calculate the values using the confusion matrix, you need to actually manually categorize those patents also. So what we have done over here is that we have also manually categorized these 200 records, and then we have compared this manual categorization with the categorization that was provided by the AI classifier in order to just find out how accurately the AI classifier was able to identify the categories. So I have created an Excel sheet in which I have used the formulas to calculate the accuracy, precision, and 2 more parameters. Before going to that sheet, I'd just like to quickly touch base on the confusion matrix. So the confusion matrix is a table that is used to define the performance of a classification algorithm. A confusion matrix visualizes and summarizes the performance of a classification algorithm. It is basically a table with 4 different combinations of predicted and actual values. So actual values are basically the values that have been manually given to those records, and the predicted values are basically the values given by the AI classifier. So in case of TP, that is true positive. In this case, the observation or the category is predicted positive and is actually positive. In FP, like false positive, in this case, the observation is predicted positive and is actually negative. Then you have Fn, the predicted value is negative, but the actual value is positive. And the last is true negative, Tn. In this case, the model correctly predicts the negative category. Now, using all these four combinations, we have used this combination to calculate the performance matrices. So there are four performance matrices scores. One is accuracy, then you have recall, then you have precision, and the last is the F1 score. So for the accuracy, it is the ratio of the correctly classified points to the total number of predictions. And here you also have a formula that we have used. Then you have recall. It is the ability of the model to find all the relevant cases within a data set. For the precision, it is basically the ability of the classification model to identify only the relevant data points. And F1 score, it is basically the harmonic means of precision and recall. So I'll just quickly open the Excel sheet in which I have done all these calculations. So this Excel sheet has all the 200 records which I have taken up for the case study. And under the E column, you have the actual categories. So these are the categories that have been manually mapped to these 200 records. And the F column is basically the predicted categories. So these are the categories that have been suggested by the AI classifier. So using these two E and F, we were able to give values to these four parameters, which is TP, FP, T, and Fn, which I've already explained. And once this mapping was done, we have used the Excel simple formula, the formula that I've just explained to you earlier, to calculate these four values: precision, recall, accuracy, and F1 score. So if you see the accuracy, like if you compare the actual categories and the predicted categories, the AI classifier was able to predict almost 87% accurately the categories for those 140 uncategorized records. So while reviewing this itself, like wherever the TP was 0, so basically wherever we thought that the actual categories did not match with the predicted categories, so we just went through all those records. There were somewhere about 17 records to which 0 was marked as TP. So we just read all those records, and what we realized that those records were like the prediction that was given by the AI classifier for those records was sign language interpretation. And after reading through all those patents, we realized that those patents should have actually been mapped to the science language and not the ones that we had mapped to. So after realizing this, we again made the changes over here. So this next part was after the review. So wherein we changed the TP value from 0 to 1, as in like we went with the predicted categories, and we again calculated all these four values, and based on that, this was the output against it basically. So you had like updated precision, recall, accuracy, F1 score. So if we would have actually gone with the predicted categories, then we would have actually achieved a higher percentage. So using the AI classifier, it not only gives the correct prediction, but at the same time, if this can be also used to cross-check if the manual categorization that you have done in your project has been done accurately or not. So this was a quick brief introduction and understanding of our latest feature, AI classifier. So yeah. So thank you everyone for your patience and for hearing me. Now let's move to the Q&A. Okay, so the first question that has been asked over here is, can we control what part of patent is used for the classification? So the answer is no. It basically, for the classification purpose, it takes the entire, like the full text of the document, but from that full text, it picks up only the key concepts. And based on that only, the classification is being done. The next question is, would there be only one category applied by the AI classifier? So no, like the AI classifier, like the record can be assigned to multiple categories. So AI classifier can predict multiple categories also. So as said before, it purely depends upon how you have provided the training data set to the AI classifier. So say for example, if your training data set is like single label, as in one record is falling under only one category, then in that case, expect the predictions to be like that only, like wherein you'll have only one record per category. But if you have done the categorization on the multi-label, as in one record falling under multiple categories, then in that case, the output, like the AI classifier, will also give the prediction in the same manner. The next question is like, if we change the category in the moderation mode, does that help in training the tool? So the answer is yes. Whatever the data, like when the next time the process will run, it will take into consideration the records that you have categorized earlier. So if you remember the current case wherein you had like 138 records by the AI classifier, I'll just jump to that particular screen quickly. So here, if you see, this was run in the on the moderation mode. So now for this particular data set, the training data set was already defined. But once you add these records to the categories, the next time when the AI classifier will run on the newer added records, then at that time it will take into consideration these records also, the way these records have been. So once we enable, so the thing is that once you enable the AI classifier in any of your projects, it is always going to keep on looking for the uncategorized records. So if the records are being added through the alerts or being added through any of your search query, it doesn't matter. Those records will automatically get added to the uncategorized records. And whatever settings that you have applied to the AI classifier, based on that, it will start giving the predictions to the remaining uncategorized records. Okay, one of the question is like probably you want to understand how the records have been tagged for the training data purpose. So for the training purpose, you'll have to use the traditional ways of PatSeer, wherein you can either read through the patent and mark the record to the category, or you can take the help of the filters that we have, just filter out those patents and push those records directly in bulk into those categories. So for training purpose, you'll have to use all the older ways of PatSeer itself. Yes, someone has asked if we can share the slides, the PPT that we have. Yes, definitely we can do that. Then the question is there any data about how the background art affects the accuracy of the classification? A lot of patent can have misleading background art, will it put the document to the wrong class? So as I said previously, the entire thing works on the how you have provided the data at the time of training. So it's not just focus on the background art. It basically considers the entire text of that particular document. And from that document, all the key concepts are being picked up. And based on that, only the categorization is done. Okay, so I don't see any more questions coming up. Just one thing to add over here. If any of you are interested in uh, using this AI classifier on any of your projects, then we can definitely have an hand-holding session wherein we can sit together and we can run this AI classifier on any of your test projects, and we can actually see how the predictions are coming out. So we can help you to actually categorize your patents. Then the question is, how are the key concepts picked up? So this is something that I'll not be able to reveal. The thing is that we do have an algorithm that runs in the backend, which basically identifies the key concepts. That is what basically I can share with you.